Open up, Colorado. It's 420. Time to grind and burn.
This is not your son's stoner show.
Welcome to the Cannabis Community Project. This is Brainstorm. Once again, bringing you your weekly podcast from the CCP studios high up in Denver, Colorado. You're exploring the business side of this newly emerging economy, focusing on the patient, the retailer, to the geek in the garage, creating that next innovation in cannabis. This is the first media platform to help fellow cannapreneurs build sustainable businesses. Hey Cannapreneurs, this week's show is sponsored by Dairy Berry's Recording Studio. Dairy Berry's Recording Studio, located in Arvada, Colorado, is your local recording studio with affordable rates. Mark is well experienced and will make your show, music, or any audio you have sound great. He makes our show come across the internet loud and clear every week, and he can do the same for your project. Take a look at dairyberriesrecordingstudio.com or call Mark at 303-456-8216. We are back. Thank you for joining us as we quickly move into 2015. February right around the corner, moving along one by one, knocking these shows down. I'm so excited. The community is growing and we have great things coming up. I got some big news for you, but I'm not going to tell you till it's finalized. The show might be expanding. We might be expanding onto terrestrial airwaves. That's right. Potentially another show branching off here, focusing on patients, and a lovely co-host at my side broadcasting over the airwaves, but I'll update you more on that. I don't want to jinx myself. This week, we have a really great show. Daniele from Primal Wellness. Have you heard of her? You're going to want to hear this story. This is a great story that's a mixture of patient, a mixture of entrepreneur, just a mixture of just great life-loving person. And we're going to talk to her and get deep inside the mind of an entrepreneur. As we all learned from Steve Jobs, you got to be a little bit of crazy, right? Or you're going to end up in a cubicle somewhere pushing numbers around a computer screen. You know, Primal Wellness is new to town and they've established a business, but there's so many more businesses out there just like this. You know, maybe you're one of these businesses where you're thinking of an idea, you're here in the States, or maybe you're like Daniele, where you're coming from another state to live here specifically for this reason. Whatever it is, these are the type of shows, these are the type of people we need to keep hearing from. You know, how have you been liking the previous shows? Kicking off 2015, started off with Gorilla Healer, moved right into Ibogaine, talking about drug addiction and treatment. And then last week we had a great episode with Canaway, talking about CBD medicinal aspects as well as entrepreneurial business aspects also, kind of all in one package with Canaway there. This week we have Primal Wellness, and next week we're going to have another business. So make sure if you have a business, you let me know. You know, I started this show because I wanted it to be something I could focus on business. And every time I meet a new business person, a new entrepreneur, all I can think about is how I need to get my reach out there. I need more people to hear what's going on because there truly is some great information being distributed through this show. And this podcaster wants to meet you. So make sure you help us out in the community here by joining our social media pages, the Facebook, Google+, Twitters, and all of that. You can find it all at the website, cannabiscommunityproject.com. And also make sure to follow all of those who have been on the show. So when you hear somebody on the show, go to their page, follow them, like them, let them know you're part of the community. Standing together, communicating, linking together is the only way we're going to grow. It's the only way we're going to have a name in the industry with respect and credibility is by standing together and standing strong. Let's quickly remember what we talked about with all these issues with Canaway, a little bit of controversy. a little bit of fun, and some great knowledge. Canaway. So quickly take a couple minutes now to get the gist of what we talked about last week. Then go back and listen to that full show if you didn't. Share it with your friends. And then let's get right into this week's show with Primal Wellness, talking to Danielle. Here we go.
I'm Brett Little with Cannaway.
Damon D'Amico, live in Thornton, Colorado, and I'm with Cannaway. We're here to talk about CBD-rich hemp oil products. We represent a company based out of San Diego, California, and we are sharing our products today, sharing education, more importantly, about the differences between CBD and THC. So it's a hemp lifestyle company based on CBD-rich hemp oil that we infuse in several different products, specifically hemp, CBD-rich hemp oil from the industrial hemp plant. It's actually an award-winning CBD hemp oil it's won 5 different cannabis cups at High Times.
You know, we use like a bee-bong formula, a Korean bee-bong formula in a lot of our products, which is all natural herbs. Make sure that we specify is that all of our products are legal in all 50 states, will not get you high, and also will not make it show it positive for a drug test.
We realize what's happened to a lot of people. We've created a lot of diseases.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, we're not here to make medical claims with our products, but what we're going to emphasize is that, if you're lied to for so many years, they straight up do it every single day by the thousands.
Don't make medical claims, but accuse your government of murder.
So good thing for editing, but it's a fast food society and everybody's on the go and they don't think about their health. They're thinking about go, let's go make money. And, if you put the money in front of it all, then you're just going to die a lot quicker. And there's a lot of people that do take care of themselves, but there's a lot of people that don't.
I can give you a little bit more background on the hemp vape. I smoked cigarettes for almost 20 years, just quit smoking cigarettes and just put it down. And what was great about the hemp vape for me, it's got the CBD benefits, so like the anti-anxiety and the help with the sleep.
What am I vaping here? What's in the cartridge?
CBD-rich hemp oil.
Produced by who?
Cannaway actually has a parent company called Hemp Meds PX. They're the award-winning oil.
Okay.
And they produce the RSHO oil, which is the real scientific hemp oil.
Okay.
And they've had doctors that have created the 507 patent. They're part of a team that's created the 507 patent. If you Google the 507, that is the patent that is basically saying the oil, the extraction process from the hemp plant that produces the CBD is a neuroprotectant, an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. And again, I'm not here to make medical claims. Just go Google the 507 patent. You're going to see it more and more. So, yeah, the market's huge. It's massive. It's every single person out there.
We're still a very new corporation, but we have 5 or 6 lines out right now. We have 70 more in research and development.
Anybody over the age of 18 can get involved with little or no cost and have an opportunity that can, fulfill whatever kind of income they really wish to achieve.
To get more information is livehemplife.com or .net.
You can call me. This is Damon D'Amico. My number is 303-895-0239.
If you have an idea, a business, perhaps just some thoughts about cannabis, contact me. I want to hear from you. I want to discuss these issues: health, food, music, growing, technology, business, everything else. CCP.
Have you ever wondered where to find wholesale cannabis products? The Cannabis Commodities Exchange is the premier wholesale trading platform for licensed cannabis businesses around the country. Each marketplace is unique and all of our wholesale users are verified, so you can be sure you're compliant. Becoming a CCX member is fast, easy, and best of all, free. So sign up and add a wholesale account today at www.cannaexchange.com or call us at 1-800-498-3CCX. Whether you need to sell your surplus or fill your shelves, CCX builds bridges for your business.
Actually, it's unfinished. It's just kind of,
It's just a cave.
it's just a basement, man. Just a half basement.
Literally.
Show you what I got going on. But I've been a grower for a long time.
Well, I take it you own the house then if you're
Yes, I do.
growing it.
Yeah.
I would assume rent
And I don't work.
Oh, no? This
No.
is your gig?
This is my gig. So I just built this room. This is just my veg area, obviously. Still gonna run track, clones, stages. My mother's down below.
So what do you got in here? What do you got going?
AABK, San Fernando Kush, Grape God, Lemon Skunk, and I think that's it.
So we're looking at a 10 by 3.
Yeah, it's actually like an 8.5, by 3. This is
But
my.
enough to fit for a 12.
It depends on actually what I'm growing at the point, you know, and what size pots or how I'm going to do it or whatnot. These are actually in here a little bit. They're in here longer than I wanted them to be. It's just, you know, timing is everything. We can walk over to the other room.
Do you like personally sativas or more indicas? Or you a little mixture of both? Or?
I personally like the sativas more because I like a more upbeat.
Right.
But my market is more indica.
Really? Is it because of their more older people or more medically needing?
I think it's a combination of everything, to be honest with you. I think it's, you know, the strength.
Indicas?
Well, yeah, I don't want to speak for my clientele and their reasoning of what it is. I mean,
Nice. So what room is this?
this is my bloom room.
Bloom Room.
Yeah, so this is my 12 and 12.
Ooh, that'd be a good name for a show, the Bloom Room.
My bloom room. Move that out. I'm going to attach a reverse osmosis.
Did you build this or have
I
somebody build
I
it?
built this. I framed it all in. It's all floating walls. It's all.
How did you learn? What's your background in construction?
I don't really have much background. I've just always been a do-it-yourselfer.
Yeah.
And so I just researched what the framing needed to be. I had a friend help me out. And it's been growing ever since. This actually area that we're standing in right here used to be my bedroom. I used to have a wall that went across. So this was my veg, and that was just my bloom.
Well, how did you learn about like ventilation and the heating and the humidity and the putting of this on the wall? And
Well, I wanted to drywall, but
did you just watch videos? Or
I did YouTube, but I have a buddy that owns a grow shop.
like a mentor?
You know, and just the network of people. You know I'm in a network of probably 10 to 30 growers, but I say 10 because there's more of us that just kind of are more around all the time. Where I meet them all the time, should I say? This is my bloom. That's that's week 1. This is like week 9. That's week 8. So what we're standing here right next to is Pineapple Express.
Wow, those look sweet.
Yeah, that's that San Fernando Kush, and I let
those
it
are
stretch.
some big buds.
I let it stretch. It's the first time that I've grown it. It's a Southern California.
You have any of that, Red?
No, that's my first time growing that strain. It actually came from seed. So like I said, it got a lot more stretch to it.
I gotta get it. That's a nice aesthetically looking plant.
Like I said, my buddy calls me Captain Caveman because I do think it's a plant and it's a weed. Yes, there's a science to it and everything's good, but there's also a durability side to it. I like it because it's got these really nice, long, thick branches.
Well, you planted it cold without...
And a friend of mine gave me the seed. I actually had one seed and it actually came out to be female and I just cloned off of her. That's my first run. Yeah, so I mean, it's been years in the making, so...
That just gave me an idea for a good segment. Can you guess which week this...
Oh, there you go. Can you guess what week it is? Yeah.
Sponsored by blah, blah, blah. Right?
Right.
Can you guess which stage this is in? Ooh, I got right.
Actually, it's got a good go. Out in the park or something like that.
But you kind of need a house in a basement. Because you know how they say, like, entrepreneurs starting out of their garage, right?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, you have a garage. Try to do that shit in an apartment.
Well, there's closet design.
Go start Hewlett Packard living in a one-bedroom, one-bath apartment versus having a house and a garage.
I have a friend of mine who actually runs hydro in California, and he rents an apartment and he just rents a spare room. And he runs a hydro bucket system in that spare room.
Well, yeah, renting for just that purpose, right?
Well, he lives in the other room.
Oh, okay. But not a family, doesn't have a family.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's got a son.
Right.
But I don't know what his current situation is right now. But I know he was single. He had a son.
How much are you going through? Was it just soil or
It's just soil?
Just soil.
Yeah. That's just my used soil because I use the house and garden line with the shooting putter. Yeah.
And you do your own soil, you said?
No, I just use the Ocean Forest. I like it the best. It gives me good results.
Ocean Forest?
Yeah, Ocean Forest. The Fox Farm.
Yeah, I don't know that much about growing.
Right. I mean, I like a little bit more perlite in it, so sometimes I'll add a little bit of perlite. For the most part, I don't.
And now the excited Southerner proposes to a girl.
Man, I doubt it.
Look, are you trying to ask me to marry you? Because I'm really not ready for that kind of commitment.
Imagine the facial on your back. It's go to the grind and I'm gonna make the dollar.
Can't you tell that it's been hard for me? Sitting in the lap of luxury, interviews and bottles of booze, people touching me to see if I'm real. Can't you tell that it's been hard for me? Private jets and fancy wheels, hardcore drugs and groupie love, big hotels and endless fruit meals. This fame, fortune, this celebrity, one day it's gonna be the end of me. This fame, fortune, oh, it's all I see. One day it's gonna be the end of me. Can't you tell that it's been hard for me? Sitting in the lap of luxury.
My name is Daniele Martel. I am the CEO and a partner in Primal Wellness Company, the world's first cannabis-infused day spa where higher expectations are met.
Excellent. That sounds good.
Thank you.
So you've been here for a year?
Yes.
Just a year.
Just a
Where
year.
you came to Colorado, opened the spa, and started living in Colorado all in 1 year?
All in 1 year.
So where'd you come from?
Florida, Fort Myers, Florida. Technically, I'd be deemed a medical refugee.
Okay.
So I was using cannabis for medical purposes in Florida illegally. I am a business owner in Florida also, and I'm a mom. So the pressure of worrying about whether I'd lose my children, lose my source of income, all of that became too great, and I decided it was better to just move and operate within the law.
Yeah. So many stories I've been hearing about. I mean, almost every week I meet people who are coming here with their children or as adults specifically for this reason. This is actually why they're talking about there's no rents available in Denver and
That's
the prices
right.
are going up. So many people coming here for this reason. Do you want to reveal what the medical
Sure.
issue was?
I've started with one issue, and then I've just found that the cannabis alleviated so many others that it's become my sole source of medication. Originally, it started, I suffer from insomnia, generalized anxiety disorder, bipolar type 2 disorder, and then the physical aspects were pretty severe carpal tunnel, and then some back injury.
Wow.
So it started for getting off of prescription drugs. Once I was diagnosed as type 2 bipolar, then the plethora of pharmaceuticals started coming
what does
with
that mean,
it.
type 2?
There's bipolar disorder that most people think of as manic depressive with the
Right.
extreme highs and the extreme lows. Type 2 bipolar disorder is the same kind that Catherine Zeta-Jones has, that she just announced that she has, where it's less about the extreme highs and the extreme lows. You have the depression, the suicidal thoughts, and the things like that. But your high presents more as being very productive. You just go, go, go. You're working. You're Superman. I mean, you can just do
The manic
everything.
stage,
The
yeah.
manic stage, yeah. It doesn't present itself typically in as many negative ramifications like drug addiction, sex addiction, gambling addiction, and things that typically bipolar type 1 deal with. But it's pretty tough to deal with.
And then you flip to the other extreme and have the extreme downs.
Exactly.
You were put on prescription medicine?
Correct. I've been on Klonopin, Xanax. I honestly don't remember the names of all of them. You know, the litany
Yeah.
of prescriptions that you see on TV, the Lunesta, the one to support the other one that's not doing this.
Right.
I mean, it got to the point where I had to take at least 4 prescriptions a day to, quote, survive in my own mind. But with those prescriptions, for my own personal experience, which everyone is different, and for some people they work very well, for myself, I woke up with a cloudy head. I was up to 244 pounds. I still wasn't sleeping. I definitely wasn't having a great quality life. And I just decided, no, that's it. I don't want to do that anymore. There's got to be something else.
Very typical of pill takers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whether you're talking about Valium, Percocet, or whatever, that's a common side effect where you're going to start to gain weight as your body kind of stops functioning.
Yes.
The cloudiness kind of overtakes your life, and you kind of lose track of time and everything else that comes with being heavily medicated all the time. So a year ago, you reached a boiling point where you said enough is enough?
Yeah, of purchasing it illegally and not feeling like the votes were going to come through and it was going to pass, and something that I could stay in Florida, continue to run my business
Cannabis
there.
you're talking about?
Correct, cannabis.
Oh, so you started to self-medicate with cannabis
In Florida, illegally,
before, during, or after you stopped taking the prescriptions
with a doctor.
with a doctor?
So I never, with the exception of maybe once or twice in high school, even tried cannabis recreationally or anything. And I'm not a person, I don't even drink alcohol. I was on these prescription drugs, and I started hearing about medical marijuana on the news, as people do. And of course I knew what marijuana was and everything. I'm not that sheltered, but I never thought about it too much. So then I started to actually research it myself, read different articles. There's plenty of information out there for people who want to educate themselves on this as a medicine. I then went to my doctor and I said, hey, do you think that medical marijuana would work for me? And without skipping a beat, he said yes. He just looked me straight in the eye and he said yes.
Your general
This is my general practitioner who I have seen for everything.
Is
who
he
made
an
sure.
older man,
No,
or-
he's South American, in his 40s, early 50s, I would say. He is a medical doctor, but he also believes in holistic therapies and things like that. He told me the most important thing for my specific issues was exercise, some kind of talk therapy, whether it's to a trusted person, a therapist, or something, and some kind of medication. I simply cannot live without some kind of balancing medication. So together, and he knew I was obviously doing this illegally. He did not help me acquire it. Nothing like that. But once you start asking, you find, well, this is a sinking ship that they're not going to be able to plug a hole in because it's everywhere. You know, even people you never would suspect use it. I learned then did, which actually helped to reduce the stigma of it. You know, I was concerned about that. Nope, no problem with that. So together, I would come in and I would see him probably at least every 6 to 8 weeks using this much cannabis, and I'm taking this prescription. All right, we're going to taper you. And over 2 years, we tapered down. So it was not a quick, I mean, you can't do that with prescription medications.
No,
that
it can be
kill you,
dangerous.
you know, and I was responsible in this path. So we tapered down. Well, then when I didn't have to go to Walgreens or CVS to get my medicine, but instead I'm going to a street corner, that no longer felt good. So I moved, and now I can go to the store, and it's easier.
You moved
from Florida.
Everybody came here for this purpose. You moved businesses, or you came here and started this business where we are now from scratch?
Both. So we came here. I kept my business in Florida, which I can still run from here. Shared with everyone why we were moving, so our clients there, everyone understands what we're pretty open about it. We had a specific plan of opening a bed and breakfast up in Evergreen. We had a contract on a bed and breakfast location and everything. For that one, we needed financing, and as soon as they found out it was cannabis related at all, they killed us on the financing. The only reason they knew that was they started researching and Googling and seeing things that I had talked about online, and then I got a very curt email that said, any idea of doing something like this, we can't be involved in, and they just killed the loan, and that was it. I feel it was a good thing, though, now, looking in retrospect, because we continued to research and see what are people looking for, what do they want. I actually went and had a cannabis-infused massage from somebody, talked to them, went down a path, created a partnership with that person where, you know, we wanted to kind of be the investor and then support this dream, and then just as partnerships sometimes fall apart, it just didn't work out. Continued on the path of it. We built out this space. The vision is here, and we've now brought in new people, and it's come to life.
And this is the full business now that you have going of Primal Wellness
Primal Wellness Company. Yes.
Day spa and studio. What are some of the full array of services, what you're doing down here?
One thing I would really like to emphasize in this is that We are a day spa that happens to offer cannabis. Of course, we want to share all about the cannabis, but just so people know, they don't have to do that when they come here. It's simply an option, and it's a complimentary option. So take it.
Meaning what?
In our service, we offer, just like most day spas, manicures, pedicures, facials, massages, wraps. In any of those services, if one wants the cannabis infusion, we simply add the cannabis extract and oil to the existing beauty product that we would be using on them anyway to give it that additional benefit.
So you're putting what type of cannabis? Like hash oil? What type of oil is going into the product?
We're using a hemp oil, and then we take that hemp oil and we put it into, that's hemp oil that you can only get in Colorado. So it's Colorado cannabis oil. We take that and put it into industrial hemp oil as the carrier, which we get through a spa supply store. And then that's what we use as our infusion into your massage lotion.
Okay. So when people are receiving the massages, the oil that the masseuse is using can be
therapist. We never say masseuse.
Oh, sorry. What's the word?
Therapist.
Therapist.
Yes.
What's wrong with masseuse?
I guess it's
Isn't that what they're doing?
calling them stewardesses when they're flight attendants. It's just a thing. I don't know why, but I respect it.
Okay.
And they're not beds, they're tables. You have massage tables, massage therapists. Yes.
Okay. So
I got an education on that.
So the therapist,
yes,
when they have the option of using an oil that is cannabis infused, what does it do? What is the benefit that it's going to do for the person?
Specifically in manicure and pedicure, for example, at the massage portion of the service, they're going to use that infused lotion. And the result that the person will feel is, if they are like me, for example, and have carpal tunnel, they'll have pain. It's an anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
So they're going to get that pain relief in their hands. If they have any tightness, you know, how your feet get sore and things like that, it's going to alleviate that greatly.
Okay.
In the massage, the greatest example that I can get of how it benefits someone is, for example, have you ever had a deep tissue massage?
Yes, it's been a while, and it was an acupressurist. So it wasn't like a Swedish deep tissue. It was an acupressure type massage.
Yes.
I guess.
Post that acupressure massage, did you experience headache as the toxins released? Were you sore at all or have bruising in any way?
Not bruising, but there was definitely, I mean, you could feel it.
You could feel it.
You could feel it.
Even into the next day, probably.
You could feel it externally, like in the muscles and bones. Not where it left bruising per se, but you could feel somebody was in there digging deep. But you could also feel it briefly and just kind of how you felt in your body. You did kind of go through a little bit of feeling like you might get sick for like a night kind of deal, and then you kind of come back out of that the next day or so. But I had an uncle who that was his profession. He had an in-home studio, and he did acupressure, and that was his thing. So I got a lot of free, very deep tissue.
So you have good experience in the massage hangover that you experienced.
Yeah, but I like that. I like the deep tissue stuff.
Well, the deep tissue work is excellent. And I'm not a therapist, so I can't speak specifically to, I can only say what I enjoy also, which is, the deep tissue work feels good. Personally, and other people that we've experienced, not everyone likes feeling like they've been kind of beat up a little bit after a massage. The cannabis oil is going to diffuse all of that. Because of the anti-inflammation, some people are perceptible to bruising. They won't have the same bruising. They won't have the same nauseous feeling. Mm-hmm. It makes it a much more pleasant experience.
Yeah. I actually did have that type of massage done here at this place when I was at the CBD for All event. One of your lovely therapists did it with the infused oil, and I felt great. And it was definitely a deep tissue one because I could feel it.
Yes.
I could feel the elbows and the forearms on there.
Yes.
But it felt great, and it was very relaxing. The oil was great on that. And that's really kind of what made me interested in what you're doing, because there's a lot of competition for, spas alone, massages. I mean, you open almost any paper and there's phone books full of that, but not specifically with this type of angle on it. Mm-hmm. So what have you experienced this last year? Has it been as you imagined it would be?
This spa has been open since October 1st, so we're still very much in its infancy.
Of 14 or 13?
Of 14.
Of 14.
Yeah, so we're,
not even
3-4 months old. Yeah, we moved here a year ago, but we just got this going October
so
1st.
This is new.
Brand new.
So what's the updates? Or what's I guess, the first analysis?
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Like any business, you talk to a lot of business. I mean, that's what your show is all about. There's always that lead time. You know, you have to get out there, do all the marketing, fill the funnel, wait for it to spit out, and all that good stuff. What's been very exciting has been these unique opportunities. If I just opened Daniele's Day Spa, I don't really think anybody would care so much. So the platform it's given us to, 1, educate on cannabis, 2, show a face of a cannabis user that's not hopefully going to scare people. And, you know, they see, oh, wow, what I perceive as normal people are doing this. Maybe it's okay for me too. We enjoy that aspect. But, yeah, it's been mostly the attention as far as the business part. This isn't my first time at this, a rodeo here.
Right.
This is the most fulfilling business, spiritually and emotionally, because I know when people come in here, they call back or they come in again and they say, when I walked in your front door, it almost felt like I got a hug. Like there wasn't, there's just something about the energy that's in this space, because everybody who's in here wants the same thing. We all personally want it, and we want it for everyone who comes in here. 1, that you feel good about your body, whatever that looks like, but you feel good about it. 2, that you feel good in your headspace as much as possible. And when you don't, it's okay. We'll still love you and accept you, and you'll feel safe here in that way. And 3, the cannabis aspect. I believe in the miracle of cannabis, and if we can have a way to share that with people, then that's what we're going to do.
Do you think you're even in competition with these other places because it pretty much is focused on the cannabis aspect? I mean, yes, if you're just comparing massage or day spa, yes, there's a lot of competition. But what about with this angle? Is there competition?
There are other companies out there that are offering. I feel we are truly the world's first cannabis-infused day spa, because the interior of our day spa is beautiful, as one would expect if they went to a 5-star day spa in a hotel, for example.
Yeah. I mean, what we're looking at here is probably in total, maybe how many square feet of a building are we looking at?
We have over 3,000 total, so it's about 1,200 in the front here. We've got the manicure and pedicure with 2 stations each, so 2 manicure and 2 pedicure in the front area with our waiting and retail area. Then when you go down the hall, we have 4 treatment rooms, 2 of which can be used as companion rooms. So when you ask about our competition, I don't think about our competition in the sense of worrying about them. I wish them all great success, because the more people who can do this and be healed by it, the better the world will be, in my opinion. So I don't think of it in that way, but I do think of it as a guest myself. And when I go to spas, which I do and I enjoy, what would I want when I go? For example, our companion rooms, I don't think many people offer where you could come in for a massage while your loved one can get her facial, for example. Or you could have that interchangeable room space, and being able to do more for people together is kind of fun. And that's mostly what people are taking advantage of. 2 people coming in and doing their thing. And then in the back, we have 2,000 square feet of yoga studio where we do music, art, yoga, meditation. That's our Zen area. You can just come in and relax. Yeah, it's a really beautiful space.
I like that. I personally like environments where like this. I mean, I like the music, and I love massages. Haven't had any facials or manicures. But,
or a backshul. Have you even heard of a backshul? That's
I'm
popular.
Afraid to ask,
Imagine the facial on your back, especially for men. A lot of men have back issues, and especially when swim season, summer comes around, you want to be running around in your trunks and feeling confident even from the behind. We can do a backshul.
Is this a herring
We can do that too.
Or just a
cleansing. Imagine
type.
a facial. Well, you've probably not had a facial, which you should. The exfoliation, if there are any...
Open my pores.
Yeah, exactly. Just clean it all up and make it look good. Exactly.
Well, I mean, I think many people are into this kind of thing, and the cannabis aspect definitely is going to bring a lot of people out to experience it, because people want to. I mean, those who are in the industry want to go and live their lives and do things that they would normally do. They just want to do it with cannabis.
Yeah.
And, if you can get a massage and with cannabis, that much better.
That much better. You asked about the kind of people, what are we seeing here? And I'll give you an example of this morning, which I just love people in general. As human beings, oftentimes you judge, you make assessments, whatever it is, just based on what you see. I would say most people could agree with that. This morning, had you walked into this spa, you would have seen a 70-year-old man just coming out of massage and a 24-year-old guy with the whole beard and the piercing between the eyebrows and the whole long hair and the whole works in the same space, sharing with each other and enjoying that community together. I don't go many places where you see that.
Right.
And that's another thing that we're really enjoying is just so many different people coming together.
That is one thing that's unique about being in the cannabis industry is it does really bring those bonds together between very extreme demographics of
Yes.
people. So you're here 3-4 months into the game, working along. You seem positive. You seem to be healthy. Yes.
Yeah, I feel good.
Are you
Some sleepless nights, but that's the norm of working, right?
are you completely prescription free, or are you doing a mixture of
Nope,
the two?
completely. I've not been on a prescription for 4 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's amazing. And you look great.
Thank you.
You don't seem like you're suffering from anything. I mean, physically or
Yep.
mentally, but who knows, right?
We all have our moments. I
Right.
mean, I have to be honest. Thank you for saying those things, and I appreciate that. Of course, I mean, it's a disease, it's something that I have to deal with. But I know I can go and I can vape or I can roll a joint or smoke a bowl or however I want to do it, and I'll be all right.
Yeah.
I know I'll be all right. And I know I won't have any negative repercussions. I'm not going to, nothing. I'll be just fine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, you said it, the three things, right? Exercise, diet, and your medication. I mean,
Talk to people.
That's right. Sorry.
Yep,
Talk to people.
Yep.
I mean, and I look at those same three things in my own life. I mean, I do the Aikido, as we talked about,
Yes.
out of obligatory exercise. I
Right.
have to do. I can't go to a gym. I'm bored out of my mind in gym, so
Yes.
I have to do something, and that's my exercise. I choose my own medicine. Obviously, I mean, I medicate for my own reasons, like everybody else.
Right.
And I call it medication because I take it to alleviate my own issues.
Exactly.
And then I think I do my podcast to take care of the talking.
Yeah, so you've got the
Also.
trifecta covered. That's why you look so good and happy.
You need an outlet also to
Yes.
kind of vent and talk to people. But when I talk to people about businesses, I always want to know more about the actual motivation of their entrepreneurship. Kind of as you were talking about, you view yourself to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm so fascinated with this idea being a cannabis show is because I'm a big believer in bringing people over to this idea of being an entrepreneur is not the same thing as being a business person. In the sense of, I've met many people in my schooling. I've done a lot of years of schooling, and I've met many people who just wanted to be business people. In the sense of, they took classes, they learned about finance, they learned about how to, balance accounts, and they learn about how to do burn rates and calculate formulas, but they don't really understand the essence of starting a business with that internal motivation of going out there in the world and kind of claiming your stake on life. They just
Right.
want to be business people, but they're not really entrepreneurs.
And I think we should dispel a myth here because you mentioned your education and everything. I don't have an education. I have a high school education. I did graduate high school, but I've not studied in college at all. I do believe if you're an entrepreneur, there's just some fire in your belly that makes you want to learn. You're a seeker. You're just a seeker, and you're a risk taker. Maybe that's where the bipolar comes in. I don't know, but
Well, I mean, there is a
know.
lot of risk association with people who have been known to be manic depressive,
Right.
that there's a high risk factor of behavior.
Yeah. But to me, as an entrepreneur, when I think of, well, what does that mean? I'm an entrepreneur. Everybody takes risk every day. Even if you've had your job from your employer for 20 years, there's still the chance that they're going to come in and let you go. There's no security unless you're in prison. So it's just where you feel comfortable being a little bit brave and stepping out. Earlier, we were talking about musicianship and that fear of, am I good enough to play in front of people? Am I smart enough to do a business? Look at other business owners. Most likely you are.
Right.
Just don't be afraid.
Right.
Just do it and try it and mess up, and then don't do that same mistake again and do it a different way and just keep doing it and you'll be okay.
That's so much of what I want people to hear from this show, and that's why I choose not to do politics, and that's why I choose not to really do war story type, stoner type show stuff. I do that intentionally because I'm trying to create an environment or a community of people who want to be in the industry, but they're not the business guy. They're not the one who, who's going to put on a shirt and tie. So there's a barrier there because they're thinking, well, how can I be in business? I'm not a business guy. I've never gone to school. I don't want to wear a tie. I don't want to do this. So I want to talk to people so they can tell me their story so other people can hear.
What does that mean when you're saying that? I'm not a business guy. What does that mean to you? What is a business guy?
A business guy is somebody who has this idea that you have to go work for a corporation, you go to an institution, you have a 9-to-5, you wear a shirt and tie, you have some type of understanding of finance and contracts and basic understanding of HR infrastructure. All these things that a lot of people either would get bored with, have no interest in, or be scared of. So to me, being a business person is, I guess, whatever somebody wants to define it as. I'm like you. I define myself as an entrepreneur, which is more I can show somebody how to start a business and basic fundamentals, like here's some technical steps you need to take to literally start a business.
Correct.
But I want people to understand what it takes to start a business.
Internally.
Forgetting about the technical stuff.
Just emotionally inside,
Right.
What does it take?
Because it's very easy to show somebody how to register with the state. It's easy to show somebody how to set up a domain name and a website. It's easy to show somebody how to outline a marketing plan and how to put together the fundamentals of structuring a business. That stuff you can teach somebody fairly easy. As far as the basics and the kind
It's
of
just an equation.
push
That's
somebody
just
along. and
A,
get 'em
B,
on
C, D. You do X, Y, Z, and you get your
Right.
license or whatever.
To me, the difficult part is how do you take somebody who's sitting on the couch working a minimum wage job, hating life,
Okay.
hating themselves, not really sure if they have anything that they can do in their life, thinking they might be stuck with minimum wage or whatever, but likes to get high, loves the idea of cannabis,
Okay.
but doesn't quite see the connect there of where to cross over. So I want people to hear stories of people that say, hey, I started a business, and this is how I did it. I have no education, but this is how I understood the basic process of starting a business. And then when somebody hears that, they go, so you mean this idea I was thinking about is about starting a cannabis skate shop of,
Or whatever their dream
Right?
is. Okay. So I've been trying to formulate, I've never been asked this question. So I've been trying to formulate a succinct answer for
Take
you.
your time.
Yeah. Though it sounds easy and seems easy for you specifically, for example, to just, you just go online to get your, file your S Corp or do whatever you're going to do. That does not come easily to a lot of people. And so my gut answer is that fear is usually what precludes everyone. That's why they're just sitting on the couch being a stoner, because they're afraid to do whatever, whether it's play music, write the book they want to write, create the art piece, or start their business. So it's fear that you have to overcome first. 2, I think you have to be able to accept failure as an option, because you will fail time and time and time again. Look at us when we came here. Our first idea was the bed and breakfast, or the bud and breakfast. And then we thought of, it's always got to be morphing. But if in the back of your head and in your gut, you feel like there's a special spark in you, that you have something to deliver, you just have to do it. You just literally have to get off the couch. That's the first step. Walk to your computer and just start thinking and looking things up. I personally believe, and actually studies have come out now, that the secret that most CEOs of the Fortune 500 companies keep is that they all meditate. Meditation is huge. Ever since I brought meditation into my life.
Define that for us, because a lot of people might be hearing this and going, so this lady
it's a guru. Here she goes with her
go
wacky.
sit in the corner on my knees and
No.
start chanting and whatever.
I mean, you can, absolutely. If you enjoy that, do whatever feels good to you.
But what is meditation?
Meditation-
In its most basic form, what are we talking about?
Taking a time out.
Okay.
Period. It's recommended, if you want to practice meditation, that you take a time out once in the morning and you take a time out once at night. And that usually looks like about 20 minutes.
Taking time to reflect on thoughts, reflect
Not
on the day.
even. It's so much less and more than that. So, for example, you can go to YouTube and you can type guided meditation. Have you ever done one of those?
Well, I'm an Aikido member for over a decade,
Okay.
so I've done many breathing exercises. But please, don't
Well,
let that.
so we don't, yeah, I just don't want people to be afraid of thinking, what is meditation? I have to go buy weird stuff and sit in a weird position. Absolutely not. You can do whatever is comfortable to you. And it's simply a state of nothingness, really. For example, one trick that I learned is when those outside thoughts come in of, oh, this bill's due, or will the business succeed, or oh my God, cancel, cancel, cancel. That's just thinking. Just stop and try to clear the brain. That's one way to do it. Other people practice, for example, transcendental meditation or TM, where you have to go to a course and you get a certain mantra that you repeat. That's one way to do it, and the mantra helps them stay on point. Aikido, you're using breathing techniques and probably focusing on the breath and working the breath through to certain parts of your body, and that's where you're putting your mental energy. You can simply lay on the floor and just do nothing, or like those YouTube guided meditations. For me, that's how I started, because my mind would just keep going. But when you have a calm voice saying, you're now in a meadow, and here comes a young man to guide you. Yeah, I mean, you can get into that story and just let your mind go. So there are so many ways to do it.
Taking time out. I think that's probably the best quote for the day, is taking time out, because it really does just give your body and your mind a chance to stop. Right. A lot of people don't realize that they don't really stop throughout the day. They go, oh, I just spent a couple hours watching TV. I wasn't doing anything. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not the same as taking time out. Right. Watching TV, even though you're not doing anything, you're still doing something. You're watching TV. That's different than taking a time out.
And somehow, and again, not to get all, I am not a, what could we say, hippie-like person or whatever it is. I'm not one of, I love to bathe and all those nice things that I consider myself pretty average person, All I know is what does work. And we all have the same amount of hours in the day. And I know that I manage with my bipolar disorder, with 2 teenage children, with a partner at home. I'm the CEO of 2 companies. I'm doing a network marketing company, which is another good way for entrepreneurs kind of dip their toe in it with some support. If you think you can run a business, try that, Sell someone else's product and see how you do. You have the autonomy of being the entrepreneur and having that same freedom and feeling and flexibility that entrepreneurship and business ownership provides. It takes a lot to actually own a business, I'm sure you know. I mean, it's not like, hey, I'm a stoner and I think I want to do this,
Right.
It's a lot.
There's different level of businesses. If you're sitting on a couch working minimum wage, you might not want to jump to level 8 where you have to start thinking about incorporating and how am I going to pay employees. That might be a couple steps beyond where you want to start, per se. What I like to have people do is just pull the thread on a sweater, right? Mm-hmm. Start with your idea. I talk to people all the time who have all sorts of ideas. And I'm an idea guy. I love ideas. There's nothing more I love than ideas. But I get very frustrated with people who get very excited about ideas, and then I give them very basic, simple, to the point actions.
Well, that's human nature.
And then it falls apart.
And that's choice.
Right?
That's the frustration that I deal with, not specifically here with we have wonderful therapists here, but historically, and I'm sure I've disappointed people in that way too, when they've said, it was so simple, I explained it to her, but I just didn't get it, or I didn't want to do it, or they're just not in the right space. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That's it. You either, at 244 pounds, I could choose to get up and go for a walk, or I could choose to go to bed. It was a choice that I made, and when I made a different choice, I had a different reaction from my body. So same thing, if you're going to fill your mind with the TV and all that stuff, go read a book and learn, how did other people do it? How did other people who had similar circumstances to you overcome that and make whatever they wanted to make happen, because it's doable.
What's frustrating to me nowadays is there's really no excuse as far as acquiring information.
Correct.
There's no people that tell me I don't have internet. I say,
go to the library.
No.
Yep.
Not going to work.
Exactly.
The acquiring information, there's no excuse. And I get very frustrated with people because I have a natural personality where when somebody starts talking about like, hey, what about this? My natural instinct is to be like, all right, yes, let's talk about it. Let's do it. And then I meet people who are like, I was just kidding. It was an idea. Right? It was an idea.
Or people who try and reality sets in. If you need money, if you need whatever, space, all of those things. That's where, for me personally, I believe that meditation, setting intention with the universe, you can call it praying, you can call it meditate, whatever you want to call it, putting it out there, the secret, it works. So when you take that time out and you start to, instead of being engrossed in a television show where they're telling you what to think, you start wondering, like, wow, how many people really think about, really, what is your dream? Is my dream to own a spa, or is my dream to have time to be with my loved ones? Through working through the spa, by creating this space and having these people do this, which is their dream for this moment, then they move to the next? Or do you just go to the grind and I'm going to make the dollar? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, you got to take time to figure out your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you want to be an entrepreneur?
All the more reason to take a time out.
All the more reason to take a time out.
Because we touched on you have to kind of think and do something. It takes a time out to think.
Yes.
As you're doing something else, the thoughts you're having are not the same as the thoughts you'll have by sitting quietly, not trying to think.
Not trying to think in your meditation, which is your 20 minutes a day. And then if you can take 15 minutes to actively think, not think about your dry cleaning that you have to pick up and things like that, but think about, for example, in my mind, I would just say, I really want to be able to take a month off and go live in Europe, but I know I need to have an income. So what kind of business can I do where I can travel anywhere and just work from a computer? Okay, then you do your research, you go to the library if you don't have internet connection, and you use their free public computer, and you figure out what kind of jobs you can do that with. Obviously, I can't be a chef because I have to be in a restaurant. So that's not going to make me happy. For Daniele, I need flexibility and freedom. So I've created businesses that allow me to do that. You might want a business that gives you physical acumen. So you own a gym so that you can go there every day and you work out. You know you're going to work out. It's all up to the person.
All right. It requires a little bit of discipline,
Yes.
just a little bit. I mean, you can't be a stoner, stereotypical stoner per se. I mean, you have to have a little
You
bit
got to make phone calls and send emails and take care of stuff.
I mean, you got to do stuff.
Right.
As sometimes I often call people on their shit by telling them, what do you expect, man? You're not doing anything.
Yep.
I mean, it's... Oh, are you asking if you can drink the water?
Because it's yours.
Oh, no.
I'm stealing it. I didn't want to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. Were you always like this as a kid?
Gosh, I've been asked that so many times in various forms. Were you always like this? Yes. Yes. As a kid, I grew up in Maine, and my parents owned and operated a fixed base operation. Are you familiar with what that is?
No.
At an airport? So, for example, the airport is a municipal property. Usually the
Okay.
government operates it, but the businesses on it are independently owned and operated. So their business was for airplanes, like the gas station, the in-flight instruction, the hangar for maintenance and things like that. So I come from a lineage of entrepreneurial spirits or business owners, and that's where I grew up and spent my summers washing and waxing planes and tugging them around and fueling them up and all that good stuff.
So you learned your work ethic young in the sense of being adventurous, maybe risky, understanding how to maybe run a business via your parents. Same thing. I mean, when I think back to, who am I? Have I always been who I am? Pretty much, yeah. I mean, when I was 9 years old, I was going door to door selling greeting cards and stationery to get toys out of the back of magazines.
Yes.
And I did newspaper at delivery at age 12. And, I did newspaper sales at age 13. And then little by little just kind of kept...
Moving up that ladder.
Just kept going.
Yeah.
Just kept going. And I've worked a few corporate jobs in my life, hated them. Did not fit at all. It's just not me. It's just not my personality. And I know that about myself. When I'm presented with opportunities that are safe, somebody offers you, hey, would you like to come work a $60,000 a year job, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday? It's tempting. It's very tempting to kind of go, well, it's not great, but it's not bad. Give me weekends.
Yeah.
It's tempting, but at the end of the day, it never really fulfills itself, and that's why I've never settled in any safe type job. I work myself out of them. I destroy my own bridges in those sense, and I think I do it subconsciously and overtly as kind of my own way of keeping myself on track. That if I find myself going down a path where I'm going, well, maybe I can just keep working this job and. I guess it'll be all right. I'll just settle in here and keep working.
Would you agree, though, the longer that you're away from that, the more difficult the idea of even thinking of doing that becomes?
I don't even know what I would do if somebody approached me with a traditional job offer, because I know how to do interviews, but I don't know if I would even want to do an interview at this point.
Yes.
I mean, it would have to be a pretty substantial job to break away from my own career path. And my own career path is pretty much media here. And I've determined this is where I'm going with it. And I'm going to put the cannabis sticker on it. You know, anybody can do a podcast. I mean, shit, there's people doing podcasts every day about every topic.
Right.
I'm going to do a cannabis podcast.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring together the only two issues I really know how to talk about, which are business and marketing and cannabis. I don't know how to talk about anything else.
So you've created your perfect existence.
Right. I mean, almost, because I've yet to get paid to the point where I can do it as my only existence. So at this point, it's a work of passion.
But you always have what you need, right? You have food.
I do.
Clothing.
I do.
Shelter.
I do.
You got here in a car.
I do.
So you even have more than you need. So somehow it always
and I
works
have my
out.
medication.
And you have your medication. So anything else would just be more.
Right.
In the bank or wherever it is.
Right. And that's why I'm happy with it. And that's why I feel fulfilled in what I'm doing, even though it's not financially producing what I really need at this point. But I'm okay with that.
Okay, so do you want a meditation for that?
Okay.
How to get it? Will you
Okay.
try it? You'll practice it?
I will promise you I will try it.
Okay.
And I will try it with an open, positive mind.
Thank you.
Tell me.
That's awesome. It's simple. Wherever you bank, in your own mind, close your eyes and picture everything in as much detail as you can. So first, you're receiving a check and see the dollar amount that you want to see on that check, and it's coming into your hands. And then you are putting that check in your wallet, and you're going to visualize this in your head. So see yourself as a body.
Should we do it now? Should
Sure.
I close my eyes now? Okay. So what's the image?
Now,
A
I've
check?
never guided someone through a meditation, so
Oh,
this
well,
would
let's
be
practice.
okay. Go ahead and give me a number. It's very specific.
5,482.
There you go. Okay. $5,482. So close your eyes, and you just went to your mailbox and you opened it. There's a letter addressed to you. So you open the envelope and you look, and there's your, how much money's on there?
$5,482.
$5,482.
Coming from my sponsor.
So, okay, from your sponsor, very
Yes.
specific. So, do you see on the check your sponsor's name on the upper left-hand corner, and you see the $5,480 written out in numbers, and it's written out in words, and there's the signature. So, you have to take that and flip it over because you have to endorse it.
Okay.
So, you've got your endorsed check,
Okay.
and now you're in your car driving to your bank. So, you can see your bank sign. It says it right there. That's your bank.
Credit union.
There's your
Yes.
credit union. You can see the sign that you see it. You go to it all the time, wishing you had a big check like this.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
you've got it, and we're going to go in there.
Tellers are going to be so impressed with me this time.
So you just open the door to the bank. Do you see the teller?
I do.
Is she smiling?
She always is.
Are you smiling?
I always am.
Why are you smiling? Look what's in your hand, that check. So now you're handing it to her. She's processing the deposit. You're thanking her, feeling very good.
I almost feel like I should tip her just because the check.
Your smile is your tip. She's feeling good because she knows that you feel good. She's so happy for you. So you've got your lollipop, and you're walking out that credit union into your car. And when you've driven back home, you log in, you see that is in your bank. You see your new bank balance, which is an additional $5,480 to what it was. And that's just the beginning. Because guess what? Another check's going to come. You just keep practicing that, and it will come.
Very nice. Visualization.
Yes.
I'm a believer in visualization, and I'm a believer in what many athletes and performers have said about the power, right, of positive visualization. I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since I was a kid, I have always been a consumer of self-help books. I've consumed all the Tony Robbins tapes. Not that I'm looking to use it all. I just like consuming the information.
Right.
I'm a big consumer of information. I prefer to consume information than actually use information.
Well,
I
if you
guess.
want that check to go into that account, you have to use that little bit of information because you've been doing this and something has still held you back, right? From that monetary gain. Something has.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just a matter of building the show to a big enough point where I can start to demand that much from my sponsors.
So I can see how many people are going to listen to this.
Oh, I'm hoping 3,000.
3,000?
That would be my goal because...
And we'll know, you can tell how many people watch it?
Yes.
Or listen, I should say.
Yes.
So 3,000. So when everyone hears this and they're one, they're going to say, you have to be another one for this because they're trying to get to 3,000.
Yes.
So you're going to see it. So all this week while you're doing the prep for this, that's what I'm going to visualize is the like the little counter on the computer.
You familiar with Tribes, the book? You familiar with Seth Godin at all? Seth Godin's kind of a author who writes a lot of books about marketing and then kind of sub-psychology type human behavior. And he wrote this book called Tribes, which is, as it sounds, it's about building tribes in your community and your network and everything else. And the number he came up with at the time that the book was written, I think he's changed it now, but was 1,000 tribe members. Not 1,000 just patrons or listeners.
Committed.
Tribe members.
Right.
Meaning they're going to be out there working on my behalf, posting for me, talking about me, working for me. You know, the unpaid volunteers, the ones who are out there doing your work for you because they're part of your tribe.
Yes.
What I really want is a core tribe that is my community, listens on a regular basis, that talks,
gives you their energy, and you give yours right
that
back to
sends
them.
Interviews
and it starts
to me, that sends businesses to come talk to me, that gives me good content for the show. I want my show to be a community show. I want people to be part of it. I don't want to be the sole voice on it. Matter of fact, I prefer to be less and less of a voice every week because I'm getting more people who are stepping up and giving me segments. People are like, hey, can I do this segment? I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah.
Because every time I meet with a business, it's one more business that's exposing me to their network. I love it.
Yeah.
And I can visually see it. I can see the line.
So that's what it is. 1,000 tribe members.
Tribe members, yes.
Sharing the posts and the podcast and the
They're just part of the tribe.
All right.
As much as anybody else would be part of your tribe here at your business. I mean, those who come and talk about you unpaid, right?
Yeah.
And they refer people to you unpaid.
Yes.
And they are constantly here patronizing you, and they're just part of the community.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I think that's what most people are looking for, unless you're a psychopath or some type of sociopath. Most people, I think, are looking for community.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking for also, but specifically this type of community. I want people who are interested in business, in the cannabis industry, and I want people to hear stories like yours and then send me an email and say, hey, what was the address of that place? I want to go down there. That, to me, makes me happy because it's like people listen, and then now they want to get in touch with somebody else. And it's happened to me a few times. I've had people...
And so it shall be.
Yes.
If you're seeing it, and so it shall be.
Yes.
Yay.
And that's the positive energy that I love here. I think your place is really, the whole ambience. It's seeping out of the walls.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you.
What's the next 12 months? I mean, do you have a plan per se?
I feel for myself, and the way I operate best is I'm very loose and I just take it as it comes. But every day I'm working. So every day I get up and somehow every day something happens. So I just keep following those leads. So 3 months I can pretty much tell you what's I know is on the books. For example, like you said, you want other people to be part of the community, and people are coming to us and saying, I practice this. May I practice it in your studio? Or I have this idea for a concept. I just need a space and yours is perfect. Can I come do it? And for the ones that fit, we want to have community too. So we try to give. So for example, we have on February 12th from 5 to 10 p.m., we are doing an indulgence event. Actually, we're just the property hosts, but it's being done by Trueberry Gardens. And the concept of that is an extension of our concept of overall wellness, but still having fun in life. So you're going to learn how to eat tasty and decadent, should be bad for you foods, but they're actually good for you.
Wow.
It's going to be sexy time. It's going to be music time. I mean, it's really about how to have, really enjoy life, man. Get all the senses pleased. And
where can somebody go to get more detailed information?
They can find more information on our Facebook page, which is the facebook.com/Primal Wellness CO. And then our website is also www.primalwellness.co for Primal Wellness Company.
Okay.
You can book an appointment online. You can see all of our promotions and specials, and these interesting events that we have going on are all posted on Facebook and on the website. Coupons, all kinds of different things you can find online. And then, of course, if you call, we'll be happy to talk to you, or just drop by and visit. Somebody's here from 10 to 6 and take a tour, ask about the cannabis infusion. We're happy to show you exactly. We're very transparent. We want you to feel very comfortable here, safe, 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Correct. Now, that's just our manned hours. You can book an appointment anytime, pretty much anytime. If there's a therapist available, the way our schedule works, whether it's 7 p.m., 7 a.m., we can accommodate it.
Well, I recommend people come get the massage. I had it, like I said, a couple weeks ago with the infused oil. It was great. Angie, she was great, and I definitely recommend people coming down and hanging out and being part of the cannabis environment when you do it. I think that's going to be interesting for a lot of people.
Thank you.
What's the actual process? So do people bring their own stuff?
No.
Or how should somebody approach the situation when they come here?
They should just come here. They don't need to bring anything when they have a service with us. We provide everything. If they're having a cannabis-infused treatment, we just simply add it to their service, and it's complimentary. They don't have to bring any of their own oil or massage lotion or anything like that. We take care of everything. You do have to be 21 or older to have the topical cannabis application, but if they want to come in here and they're under 21, we still have services for them also. Insofar as the psychoactive effect, and if people are looking to achieve that component, you will not achieve that through topical application, but we do offer complimentary vaping pens. Just like you go to some spas and they give you a glass of wine, we give you a vaping pen.
As part of the treatment.
Yep.
Right.
Treatment, yoga, meditation. If you're here, you can be vaping.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I don't even think we really scratched the surface of really getting into the full aspect of your business and more about that. So what I think we're going to have to do is possibly come back in maybe a month or so.
Get a backshell. And follow this up.
I don't know if I can tell my friends that. Change your name.
You don't have to tell them. You just show them when you're out on the boat or wherever you go.
But there's so much more, obviously, that we could talk about. Let's follow up, because I do want to know more about the ins and outs of how you're structuring your business here and how you're moving along every day, and pull more out of you of what people can learn from.
Thank you.
I think you have a lot that people can learn from, and there's probably a lot of good stories there. I mean, I know there's been many times in my life where all I had to do was hear something and kind of change my direction.
Well, hopefully those 1,000 tribe members who are going to listen to this podcast are going to have some questions for me specifically. They're going to email them to you, and that's going to set up the next date. Right?
That's right.
High five on that one.
Yeah. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
spending
so
the
much.
extra. Thanks for listening to this week's show. Make sure to come back next week. We're going to have even more guests lined up, speaking with dispensary owners, growers, business owners, even musicians for more of our Musicpreneur episodes. Make sure to follow us on all of the social media, Facebook, Kush Common, Google+. You can listen to our shows live from the website or your preferred listening platform. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, even YouTube, all under the same name, CannabisCommunityProject.com. We'll see you next week.